Heading out of State College, where we are joined by Penn State head coach Guy Gadowsky. Guy, you and I were joking just a moment ago. The summer always seems too short. The offseason has basically been eliminated from the college coaching profession at this point, hasn't it?
That's true. It was a lot better a few decades ago when we had a little time, but excited to get back at it.
How has the job changed for you, Guy, over the past couple of years? When you start, it's a fledgling program, making that transition to D1, and now, hard to believe, the originals, the Tommy Olczyks and company of the world have moved on.
Yeah, well, we miss those guys. It was a lot of fun, and it still is. I guess the expectations are changing a little bit every year that we get a little more accustomed to Division I hockey in the Big Ten. But it's all been fun. I think the community here has really taken to it. The student body obviously loves it. So that makes it a lot of fun. So it just makes coming to the rink a good time, and can't wait for the puck to drop so we see the student section again.
How much has the recruiting process specifically changed for you and your staff?
You know, I don't know if the process changes. Obviously, we're a little more secure, well-defined in what pieces we're going to lose. When you start, you sort of piecemeal everything together. So I don't know if it's changed a lot. We just continue to try to get great student athletes, really good quality people that are going to fit into Penn State.
How much does it help you guys when you're on the road recruiting your style of play? And what I'm referring to is that in the last couple of years, you're far and away the nation's leader in total shots, and all offensive players love to play for a team where you're getting the puck on the net.
Yeah, well, we love to score goals. We play that way. We continue to try to get better and better at what we do without the puck and defensively, but we love to play. I think here in Penn State, they love that type of up-tempo, whether it's hockey or anything else. They like to see the players get up and down the ice, the floor, whatever, and certainly that fits with our style. I think the guys are having a great time doing it, and you know, I think we're ahead of the curve in terms of where we're supposed to be in terms of wins and success, so we're going to keep doing it.
We'll talk to David Goodwin as part of our media day as well leading into the hockey season. Are there any other returning players, because we know David's numbers speak for themselves, who you expect to have a breakout or are ready to be on the cusp of a breakout season this year?
You know, I don't know if we can identify one or two guys. I think along with what David does is, yes, his numbers speak for himself, but just the way he thinks the game is exceptional as well. And I think we're bringing guys in that like to play with other guys that are very instinctual, that have really high hockey IQs, and so that being the case, I think that there's a number of guys that can break out offensively. Hopefully, as a team, we're going to continue to do it as a whole, but hopefully, it's just more than one or two guys.
You've had the rare ability over the last couple of years to bounce back and forth between a couple of veteran goaltenders in Matthew Scoff and Eamon McAdam. That opportunity is no longer there for you as a coaching staff. So what's the goaltending situation look like you as you head into this year?
Yeah, well, that's a question mark. It's an interesting one. Obviously, we were planning to have Eamon McAdam back, but he signed early to go with the New York Islanders. And so we're left with a situation where we don't have one goaltender that started an NCAA game. But we have a lot of faith in Chris Funke when he came in. The games he did play, he played extremely well. He's an unbelievable guy that really helps your team. And Peyton Jones has had a lot of success at the USHL level. We're very optimistic about what he will be able to do in the net. So it's excitement, but it's also a question mark.
Obviously, the biggest news in the offseason was the addition of Notre Dame, and the Irish will join the league next season. Your thoughts on expanding to 7 teams and specifically making it Notre Dame?
Yeah, well, I think they're a great fit for the Big Ten. Obviously, they put a lot of resources into athletics, and they're a high academic school. I think they're a really good fit. Their hockey program, the success they have, it speaks for itself. Coach Jackson and his staff are excellent. I think it's a great addition to the Big Ten. Certainly doesn't make it an easier league, that's for sure.
Do you support, Guy, further expansion? Would you like to see an 8th team or even more than that if it's a team that fits what the league wants?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think if it fits what the league wants and what the Big Ten represents, I think it would be a great thing. So I don't think we just go out and get anybody. I think it has to be the right fit, like Notre Dame. If we find another school where that's the case, yeah, I think it would be a good thing.
You've brought up academics a couple of times already in the last few minutes. What can a coaching staff do? Not professors, not teachers, but the coaches that see the guys on the playing field, on the ice all the time, to help positively affect that athlete's student-athlete experience?
Well, I think it has to be a priority, but I would hope it would be. More than I think the coaches, I think it comes from the culture within the locker room, and certainly our entire coaching staff right now came from Princeton, and we had a lot of success. We're very comfortable with really high academic guys, and that's what we're trying to do here. But it fits perfectly with what Penn State Athletic Department is all about and how they make academics a priority. So it's a really good fit, and I think when that happens, the coaches agree with the athletic department, and then the culture is developed from the locker room. I think really that's what's important, that everybody's on the same page and knows that academic is a priority and operates, the actions speak that way, and I think that's what we have right now.
I've had an opportunity, obviously, to tour your facilities. A lot of the folks who watch you on TV, support your program, probably haven't. Could you tell them a little bit about what facilities are provided for the guys outside of Pegula Ice Arena? I'm talking about the academic support centers and the help that they get to make sure that they get all the help that they need inside the classroom.
Yeah, I got to say, Penn State just does a tremendous job with its student athletes in terms of the support that they get academically. Just tremendous. We have a Morgan Academic Center for student athletes that really they can go there and so much is available to them, whether if they want to practice a presentation, whether they need a computer room, a tutor room. There's really so much available to them for them to help them out, and not only in terms of just helping them get by, but helping them really succeed. So I think that what we've seen on our team is that the players that really use these resources the most are the guys that want to turn their 3.6 into a 3.8 or a 3.9, and that's a great thing to have. But certainly that credit goes to Penn State. They do an amazing job with that.
Guy Thon is obviously very well known, but in addition to that, we see so many of your guys giving back to not just the school community, but the greater community as a whole. Where does that come from? How important is that inside, as you termed it, that culture inside your locker room?
Yeah, I think it's really important. It's something I really love, but I got to tell you, it certainly comes from, I think, first, the student body. I mean, it's not that we bring guys in that show that all the time, but once they get to Penn State and they see not just the student athletes, but with the student body in general, the emphasis they put in serving the community, that they get rushed in right along with it, and they enjoy it, and the things that they do come from them. It's not something that the coaches or the team or that we try to assign. It comes from them. It's something I think they really enjoy doing. I think they get a lot in return. Certainly the community does. So I think it's a real win-win, and it definitely comes from them.
Two final questions for you, Guy, and it's in regard to two other coaches. One, a new coach to the league. Your thoughts on what Tony Granato will bring as he joins the coaching staff at Wisconsin?
I think he's going to bring a lot. I mean, a tremendous staff with him. Obviously, he's familiar with both of the other coaches, and I think they're going to have a unique situation there. I think he brings a ton of experience to Wisconsin. I played against him in the old WCHA, and he was known as just a class guy, a great player, but a class guy, and all my dealings with him since then have been congruent with that. He's a very good hockey guy, but he's a really good person as well.
And lastly, Red Berenson is back again. Just when everybody says this has to be Coach Berenson's last year, he has to be done, he laughs and says, I'm coming back to coach another year. What's it been like for the last couple of years to coach against and have conversations with and pick the mind of a guy who will go down as one of the greatest legends in the history of this sport?
You know what? It's a privilege. It's amazing, and it's been that way. I started in the CCHA with Alaska when Alaska was in the CCHA with Michigan, and right from day one, he's such a fierce competitor. I mean, that's what I love most. Everybody knows he's such a good person and a great guy, and he's like that. He's a perfect gentleman away from the ice, but I just love how intense he is on the bench, on the ice, and he lets you know he really wants to win, and I love that about him. He's real super competitive. Obviously, he's a legend. It's a privilege to be able to compete against him. And, aside from the fact that he's in a lot better shape than me, I'm still really happy he's in the league.
Guy's probably out chopping wood right now as we chat. Guy Gadowsky, head coach at Penn State. Guy, always great to catch up. We appreciate the time.
You too, Rick. Thank you.